Well, we are joined now in studio with a very special guest, the newly elected Congressman, Dr. Raul Ruiz. And we're excited that he is here in the studio with us. And he is going to be, obviously, the congressperson for the newly formed 36th District. He beat out longtime incumbent Mary Bono Mack. And during this month's election, now Congressman-Elect Ruiz is going to be answering some of your questions as well that we have posted earlier on Facebook that you've come up with. And I hope, Doctor, that you are in for some hard-hitting questions, right, this morning on this early morning. Well, actually, we are going to do that to you, Doctor. We're going to just loosen up and have some fun. Doctor, let's get the business out of the way first and find out how it's going with freshman orientation. We all think about it as to what it could possibly be like, but none of us have any idea. It's been a long time since somebody new from this area has been in your position. So we're wondering, what is freshman orientation for a congressperson?
Well, freshman orientation is essentially a time where we can go and meet the other classmates, the other freshman class, and our colleagues, and also to learn the fundamentals and the logistics of opening an office, gathering a staff together, and all the other rules and regulations and procedures that we have to know once January comes about.
So is it, like you said, like starting the first day of college again?
Yeah, you go and you look for the cafeteria, you ask for directions, you meet your new classmates, and it's just interesting.
Well, now that the campaign is over, what are some of your thoughts about the heated contest?
Well, you know, now that the campaign's over, I'm really focusing on the future and making sure that we have a very competent and very skilled staff. We have great initiatives that we're planning on to improve the economy, to increase jobs, and also to improve healthcare access and affordable quality healthcare for everybody here in the district, as well as improving education for our youth.
Well, I would imagine that your skills as a doctor are coming in very handy right now, because your schedule has probably changed immensely. I mean, I realize that when you were on the campaign, it was very busy, but what's it like being in public office now and actually getting out, pressing the flesh with your constituents, but also having to now report back to Washington, D.C.?
Well, it's, you know, it's very intense in terms of time, which I'm used to as a physician. I'm just very thankful now that I can sleep in my own bed as opposed to working in the overnights in the emergency room. And I like meeting people. That's why I went into being a physician, because I enjoy taking care of patients. And it's the same in being in Congress. You're meeting people constantly.
Well, what are your thoughts about the fiscal cliff that is approaching and what it could mean to the people here in the Valley?
Well, I think that my thoughts is that I'm really praying that the Congress can come together and negotiate and compromise into a very viable solution. We definitely want to avoid tax increase for the middle class, and we want to make sure that we are entering the year 2013 as in the most viable that we possibly can.
I'd like to ask you a few questions that our viewers posted on Facebook this morning. Chris Hoffman of Palm Springs wants to know about the green sector job growth in the area. How will you impact that here?
Well, we definitely have to improve the green economy, the renewable energy. One is we have to look at what's needed, what's the strategic plan that other organizations like the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership has had. We also have to look at how we can improve manufacturing for the equipment that we do need in this area, so that way our solar panels, for example, our wind turbines don't have to come from other areas, that we can produce them right here.
And Fred Garbett of La Quinta says he'd like to know your thoughts on the restoration of the Salton Sea.
Well, the restoration of the Salton Sea is very important. It needs to be a priority for all of us, but no one agency or office is going to find the solution. We have to come together as a community, both state, federal, academic, scientist, philanthropic, Native American community, as well as private industry, coming together to find out the most viable solution, so that we don't have a dissipating Salton Sea, which would cause health problems for all of us, especially those that suffer from asthma, emphysema, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Well, I had the pleasure of listening to you talk with young high school students the other night, and you mentioned some of the areas that you're interested in, committees that you're interested in getting on, where your expertise would really come in handy. Can you speak a little bit about those areas?
Well, I'm really looking forward to putting myself in positions that would best serve our district and our great country. And given my history and the needs of this area, one of the ones is, of course, health and healthcare, public health. The others also include green energy, renewable energy, issues related to education, workforce development, job development, as well as our Native Americans and veterans in our area.
Question for you, another one from one of our viewers, comes from Carl Brennan. He'd like to know, he says he hasn't found too much information about your family life and wants to know a little bit about, you know, some personal stuff in regards.
Well, you know, I'm from here in Coachella. I grew up here. I'm single, and that's one of the things that you know, when we come into the Thanksgiving holidays, Jennifer, it's a moment to reflect. It's a moment to think about what's important for us and to be thankful. And this Thanksgiving is very special. You know, it's about family. It's about community. You see, Jennifer, I was born in Mexico in a city called Zacatecas. My mother died when I was an infant, and my uncle, of course, it was a tragic moment. My uncle brought me over to my grandmother's house. She lived in a border town in Naco, Arizona, and my mother's sister-in-law visited. And the story goes that when I was an infant, I looked at her and I said, "Mommy." And so she took me with her and brought me here to Coachella, and she adopted me. So it was a very special moment. She was married to my father, Gilbert, who was born in the United States, and she had a green card at the time. And I became a citizen of this great country. So it's a moment of giving thanks. It's a moment of reflection. It's a moment of understanding our origins, but also knowing that as a community we can come together and help one another. You see, my family did that, and that's why I am who I am today, because of my wonderful family that has embraced me, this community that has embraced me, and now I'm just thankful to be able to give back and to serve the people of this community in our great country.
Wow, you really did share something with you. That was one question I was going to ask, is if you could share something that maybe we couldn't find on Wikipedia, and you obviously have done that for us. So thank you so much. I do have a light question for you, though. We did have this topic come up in the newsroom, but do you like light meat or dark meat?
I think that it's important to kind of mix them both. But I do like my turkey with cranberry sauce.
Ah, very good, very good. Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been a pleasure having you in the studio. Congressman-Elect Dr. Raul Ruiz, we're looking forward to all the changes that are coming our way in the 36th District, and we wish you a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Jennifer, and happy Thanksgiving to you and all those that are viewing.
Thank you. Still to come on the CBS